Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sarah and Maeve. And you are from UK, you still have dark. I'm in southern France, and the weather looks lovely. The sun is shining. And this is our second Life After Yachting webinar, broadcasted also on SuperYacht Radio simultaneously. And today we are going to talk about employment-related things in Life After Yachting. And Sarah, do you want to run through our program today, and then we start getting into it?
Perfect. So yes, thank you, Titta. Hello, Maeve.
Hello,
so today
Sarah.
we are focusing much more on the direct employment side of the Life After Yachting. In our previous webinar, we covered lots of different parts of the Life After Yachting that we support, but this is much more a focus on crew that would like to leave their life at sea and find fulfilling employment on land and find jobs that recognize their skills and also give them obviously fulfillment and enjoyment, but are more land-based. So we've got a really interesting program for everybody today. It's a shorter program than last time. Last time I think we did the world's first ever day-long live webinar that was simultaneously broadcast on SuperYacht Radio. So this time we're just going for a morning, and so we'll be with you from now and for the next 3 hours. And we have some presentations, we have some more inspirational stories from crew, and we have probably my most exciting part of the day, we have a debate on the golden handcuffs of yachting. And we'll go into exactly what we mean by that shortly. So let's run through what you can expect and some of the timings. I know some of you have to dip in and out of the day, and of course that's fine. So starting off now, obviously we've got myself and Maeve and Titta just welcoming everybody, and then we go straight into the nitty gritty at 9:15 CET with Emma Parks from Church House Investments. You may remember Emma last time, she's our financial advisor, and we've got a really poignant presentation today. There's been a lot of discussion in the industry very recently about fraud with financial advice, and there's been a few examples that have come to light recently of crew being given less than great advice by people within the industry and suffering financially as a result. And this is something that we want to discuss. So Emma has a fantastic presentation and it's entitled 10 questions to ask your investment manager or financial advisor. So she's arming crew with the types of questions that they need to ask to ensure that they are fully informed about the advice that they are receiving, which is so important when there is a plethora of options out there. And for many, including myself, the nuances of the finance world are perhaps not our area of expertise. So we'll be looking into all of that at 9:15. At 9:45 CET, we have lovely Donna Murray from Hill Robinson Elite. Hill Robinson Elite is a new crew part of Hill Robinson and is focusing on land-based employment. So we'll be finding out more about that from Donna at 9:45. Swiftly going to 10:15, we'll be talking with Inga Nielsen. Inga's an amazing lady. I'm really excited about her section of today. She has an amazing story about her career that includes yachting, of course, and also some other really interesting sectors. So Inga's going to talk about her journey in and out of yachting and her experiences there. So we're looking forward to hearing that. Following on from that, we have 10:30 CET, lovely Anna Petrel, who is our crew coach. She's talking about, she's done some research actually into the golden handcuffs, which is our debate later on in the day. So she's going to be discussing her crew research around that subject and also talking about a workshop that she is doing in the next few days. Moving on from that, we have our debate. So we'll swiftly go in from the research to the big talk, and we are joined by two of our new partners, which is fantastic. So as we're going to have obviously myself and Titta, Anna, who obviously we would just have spoken to, and then we have Nunu from Earth and Sea Elite, who is a land-based and sea-based crew agency, and also other types of recruitment, so a really valuable resource there of information for us. And we have Dale Fisher from Proteus Recruitment. Proteus Recruitment is focuses on more of a niche part of the recruitment cycle. So it'll be interesting to get Dale has a really eclectic background as well. So we'll find out more about what he does and how he can help crew with their specific requirements. And we're essentially going to be discussing the two-way exit strategy. So the golden handcuffs are talked about in the fact that it can be really hard for crew to leave yachting. The life is obviously well paid. It's a very demanding job, so it can be hard to find time to leave, but also you can have a sense of shame of leaving. People sometimes think of it as a giving up, why haven't you carried on? But then also the reverse, the shame of coming back. We have crew that have tried to land at a life on land and have found they haven't liked it for whatever reason, and then they have shame about returning to yachting and whether they will be reaccepted into the community. And we want to make sure that those barriers are broken down and just discuss what we can all do about it to make sure that there's an easy transition from onshore to onboard, back and forth, and that crew, like all of us, have the choice to have the life and career that they want. Following up from that, we're going to swing back to myself, Titta, and lovely Maeve from SuperYacht Radio, and we'll be wrapping up and also talking about some of the job offers for crew that are available through the Life After Yachting online portal, which is available through the Life After Yachting website, which is www.lifeafteryachting.com. You can go in there, speak to any of our supporters, look at jobs that are available for crew, find advice, find guidance in all sorts of areas that will help you in your life after yachting. So we'll talk through those and talk to you about some of the jobs as well. And then we will finish up. So that's our program for today. And I think a really good mix. Don't you think, ladies?
I have to say, I'm really looking forward to this. I have had the pleasure of chatting with Nunu and Donna, of course, and Dale as well in the past sort of 2 weeks coming up to this. One of the things I love about this whole, along with, I have to say, working with Titta and Sarrah, it has been a lovely experience. But one of the other things I love is that almost all the participants have the experience of what they're talking about. They have their own stories of going from on board to onshore or changing career or changing life. So it's not just something that they have set up and they're doing successfully. They have the real experience of what it's like to do it, which is, for me, what makes it even more genuine when they're talking, because they know what it's like. And that's one of the reasons why, on top of the fact, I have to say, I have loved following Anna recently, because she is one of the most enthusiastic people I know. And she genuinely would have said the same thing. Her transition, and one of the reasons she set up as a crew coach, was because it was really tough to do the transition and figure out what was right and what was next. But if you are on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, she has been just a lovely guiding light for people as they do this transition. I recommend tuning into her as well. So fantastic lineup. And Inga is the one I haven't got to meet, so I'm very much looking forward to hearing her story as well.
I couldn't agree more, actually. I think it's, like you said, it's one of the biggest, well, there are many bonuses of Life After Yachting. We've had several conversations off air about the community and the fulfillment for everybody to give back to crew. But I was having a conversation just yesterday from a marketing point of view about peer reviews and the strength of having information from somebody else in the same situation as you and trusting the person that has gone through the same experiences as you, and that being such a valuable resource, because sometimes we can be bamboozled with companies marketing all sorts, products and services, whatever, inside, outside of yachting. And actually just having somebody that has been through your situation or is in a similar situation to you go, no, that's a good person to speak to, or that's my experience. And I think you're right. We've nearly all the partners in yachting have worked in yachting for considerable amounts of time. So having that real life experience of what the crew are going through just brings such added value to the advice and the guidance that they can bring. So yes, I think we are very lucky to have the partners here that we have got, for sure.
And I think the transition is not only in the yachting industry. They say that everybody changes their career 5 times during their lifetime. So the transitions go on and on and on in our lives. it's always a very difficult moment. So I think it's a kind of a life lesson also, what we are going to ease for everybody, going from one industry maybe to another one, or staying inside the same industry. But of course, yachting is special because you live with your co-workers most of the time, and then you are thrown into the wild world where you have to live by yourself and take care of yourself too most of the time. So that makes it maybe even more special in yachting.
And I think as well this year for so many people, and we ourselves have moved country, but I know a huge amount of people who have moved jobs, moved country, you know, made very big life changes. So I think right now as well, it's a very apt time to kind of support that transition as well, because it is a time of change and it can be positive, you know, which has been some of the challenge of this year, is finding the positives. But, you know, I've almost always found change. I've always been happier at the next stage, however hard it was to go through it.
I completely agree with that as well, Maeve. Yes, you are very wise this morning, Maeve.
Yes.
It's been a year of reflection for some, because some, you know, so much of the world had a moment to pause, didn't they? And you have, when you pause, you think about your life and you think about where you want to go, and you actually have time to think about your future. And that's something that we don't always get when we're running around with our busy lives. So of course, a moment of pause will often instigate change at some point in the future. So yes, indeed, Life After Yachting was born moments before COVID was even known about. So we were being rather fortuitous, I think, but it's actually arrived at a good time, because yes, we are in a era of change. And I read something yesterday actually, which I thought was a very good point. And it was outside of blog yachting. It was a blog that I read, and the author has had a really tough year this year, both in business and in her personal life. And she essentially said, after every period in history of struggle, and she used the Spanish flu of 1918 and 1919 as a really good example, and actually that's probably the most similar example to what we've gone through this year. But out of that horrific period of time, then the Roaring Twenties happened. And it's a little bit weird that we're almost in the same time period, but 100 years later. But she essentially said that the human spirit wants life, wants to live, wants success, wants happiness. And so we've all been through challenges of one description or another this year. But I truly believe that the 2020s will also be roaring, and we'll come back, and there will be such great moments and such great enthusiasm for life and the change that we've all gone through because of the period that we've just had. So yes, I think there's lots of positivity to look forward to, and we can all get the beautiful 20s styling out. Maybe we'll all have to meet up in a Papa dress maybe next year, and yeah, I can't wait.